Hey guys, we're diving off into jerkbait fishing today on the channel. You guys are gonna wanna stay tuned. I've got the box, the line, the rod, the reel. We're gonna break it all down, then go out on the water and hopefully catch some fish. You guys stay tuned. Project D coming at you. All right, so we've got a really cold winter day. You know, it's as cold as it gets right here around my part of the country. And you know, the lake that we're gonna go do this on today, I haven't been out any this winter at all on it. And this lake's visibility, I'm gonna say, is gonna be about like that, which is fairly clear for this body of water. You know, that's, what is that? 24 inches, you know, almost 2.5 feet. And we're gonna have a cloudy day, it looks like. You know, there may be some sun popping out. So I've laid out 3 colors for this kind of conditions that I'm gonna throw. I've got a gold with an orange belly. You know, that's just an old standby. I know it's not sexy, but it's one of them that I always have in my arsenal. I've got a table rock shad, something with chartreuse, white. And then last, I've got just stunner shad. This is just a solid white, you know, with a dark back, but these are all solid colors. When you look at all 3 of these, they're solid, guys. You can't see through them. There's no light transparent, you know, going through them. They're very solid colors. I've chose solid colors because we got 2 conditions here that scream solid colors. Cloudy conditions and not gin clear water. I mean, there's times when you know, you may be jerkbait fishing on your body of water, you know, say Bull Shoals, Table Rock, Hartwell, you know, even Grand at times gets really clear. And on a cloudy day like that, that's when I'm gonna have a bait that is more transparent. Let's see if I can get one of these out real easily. You know, that bait there is white, but yet you can still see through it. It's gonna help you trick those bass a little more. You know, I've got another bait here. Let's say this one here. It's transparent. This would be great in super clear sunny conditions. So keep that in mind when you're choosing your colors. Now, as far as the depth of the baits, I'm gonna choose those deeper diving jerk baits. The clearer the water is, those fish are gonna be deeper. You know, here today, I just don't feel like those fish are gonna be that deep. So I've got the short billed versions and I've got one deep version on, but I've got the shorter bill version. You know, this bait here is gonna get to like 6-7 feet fairly easy for me. When I go with that longer bill version, you know, I can get that bait to like 8 to 10 feet very easily. So keep that in mind also when you're choosing or buying a jerkbait. You know, what the lake that you're fishing or the pond or wherever it is that you're fishing, how deep do you need to get it? And it's usually a good idea to have both, because there's gonna be some days the water's sunny and those fish get up high. You know, as the season progresses, they get up higher in the water columns to warm up some. So, you know, actually the shad get up there and the bass follow them. But, you know, have both of them in your arsenal, but then choose the one that's conducive to your water conditions. So we're gonna start out with the short billed versions. Now, as far as the rod and reel, a very key component, you know, to this whole thing is the rod. So let's get the power stop breakdown done on my rod. You know, this is one of the few areas that I feel like you need a more expensive rod, you know, and I say you need more expensive rods in situations where sensitivity, where you've got to feel a bite is crucial. And jerkbait fishing is that way because, you know, one of the most important things when you're jerkbait fishing is when you're on the pause, you've jerked and you're pausing it, your line is slack. So you need a rod that is very sensitive that can feel that bite through your rod to notice at the hook. So, you know, I've got a 6/8 medium action rod. You know, I say more expensive. This rod's like a 120, 130 bucks. You know, like a crankbait rod, you know, just to go the other way, you don't need a super sensitive rod, a very expensive rod on a crankbait, because you don't want to pull that bait away from them a lot of times. So that's the rod I use. You know, any longer of a rod, you're hitting the water, it puts more fatigue on you when you're really jerking, especially if you're jerking it fast. I've got it on a high-speed reel. That's important to me because I want to be able to take that slack up on that pause. When I have all that slack line, I can take that slack up, you know, get the hook set. I can also take, you know, reel that bait in really quick when I need to make the next cast. You know, and just to reiterate something right there, You're always moving the bait with your rod. Never move the bait with your reel. You know, the gear ratio there has nothing to do with moving the bait with your reel. All my fishing, when I'm trying to get a bite, I'm moving the bait always with my rod. Line, guys, super critical. Fluorocarbon line, 10-pound test for me, 80 to 90% of the time. The fluorocarbon is denser. It's not buoyant. It pulls that bait down, helps get that bait deeper. Fluorocarbon doesn't stretch like monofilament, so you know, spring for that fluorocarbon. That's an important concept. Now, I will go to 8-pound test if I'm really trying to get a bait super deep, you know, in really clear water situations. And I will go to 12-pound test later in the year when you start jerking a bait really fast, you know, or trying to keep it up over grass. That's when I'll go to 12-pound test. But that is my setup. That's my power stop breakdown on this gear right here. I'm gonna tie some baits on. The next time you see me, I'm gonna be out there fishing, hopefully, and catching a big old bass, I hope. We'll see. You guys stay tuned.
Who says you can't catch bass in 39-degree water? That's what I've got today, is 39-degree water. I mean, it is cold. That's probably one of the coldest bass I've caught. You know, I've caught them in 40, 41, 42. I've not caught a lot in 39. Not a big one, but it's a bass. I do not want to get my gloves wet, guys. All right, so one thing, we're gonna make points throughout this whole video on what I think is important. One thing I think is super important anytime you're jerkbait fishing is try to make as long a cast as possible. So much of the time, you know, you need to get that bait down. The closer I can get it to those fish, a lot of times, you know, it allows me to move it a little quicker because my bait's closer. They don't have to come up as far. And you achieve that by making a super long cast. So that's point number one. Make as long a cast as you possibly can. Get the bait down to help get that bait down deeper. There's another one. Oh. Nope. He fouled my bait. That happens so much, you know, like you notice that my hook got hooked around the hook. That happens when you have one just come up and swipe at it. So that kind of tells me I might be working my bait a little quick, or they don't like the color. I'm gonna fish it a little longer and see what happens, but there's no doubt a bite. Oh, he did it again. Slacklined it. I mean, gosh dang it. I got him. I say I got him, he's just not very big. Small one. Hey, but it's a fish. It's a fish. Yeah, that's one thing I figured out today is it's, and I say I figured it out. You would suspect it, you know, with 39-degree water, really short twitches. I mean, you know, when I throw this out there, I'm just very small twitches. I don't want to give that too much action. It's really cold water. You know, as that water, let's say, is in the upper 40s, upper 50s, you know, then you can really twitch that thing. But today we've got cold water. So I'm just going to give it very short twitches today, you know, to try to make it look as a cold shad. You got to think a shad's not going to be moving very fast in this kind of water. they're not very big, but they're bass. All right. Yes, 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 yes. Look how fat he is. He's short and fat. Golly, they're cold. Cold, 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 cold. Ah, I can't believe it, guys. I love it. I love it. I love it. Those short little twitches. You know, gone for me are the days of pausing it. You know, we've got 39-degree water. We're up to 39.6. And you saw that's only a 8 or 9 second pause at the most. You know, for me, most of the time it's 4 to 5 second pauses. I just don't think we have to do that anymore. You know, the Alabama rig really kind of taught us that. You know, that those fish will be a little more aggressive. And a reason that I don't think we have to pause it also, you know, besides what we learned with the Alabama rig, is our jerkbaits nowadays are getting deeper. Like the jerkbait I've got tied on, it sinks pretty quick. You know, it's getting deeper, so I don't have to pause it as long. You know, before we had to pause it because we couldn't get them as deep, and we had to really wait for that fish to come all the way up out of that deeper water to get it. You know, now I'm getting my bait half the distance deeper, so it's not near as long a pause for those fish to have to come up and get it. All right, let's catch another one. There's one. That is one thing about it. When you find a brush ball that's got some in it, keep making that same cast. This one may be a little better. No, this guy may be a little better. They're all good. I will take them. I will take them every time. Yep, yep, yep. No, what I was trying to say there, like, you know, that's, I don't know, 4 fish out of the exact same brush ball. They've all been the same size. We need to move on and find some bigger ones, but heck, I'm not complaining. That's 39-degree water, 4 fish. There we go. Maybe. I got another one. Not very big, but it's a lot of casts in the same brush ball. I will take it. I will take it. I will take it. Sweet. Got another one. Another one. Man, there's a lot of little ones in there. I think there'd be a better one. All right. Whew, that makes my hands cold. Golly. All right, let's move on. You know, one thing you got to determine a lot of times in the wintertime jerkbait fishing, you know, in my part of the country is, you know, are they in the pockets? Are they secondary points or main lake points? You know, we just started right here close to the boat ramp. And yeah, there's some little fish there, but man, I feel like we should be able to catch some better fish today. But at least we got our day started. So we've established there's fish in the backs of pockets, in brush, you know, 12 to 14 feet deep type brush. Let's see if we can duplicate that and maybe move out a little bit more main lake, see if we can get some better bites. You know, today we've established these fish are in brush piles, you know, 12 to 15, 20 feet of water so far. But that's really too shallow for me to idle over. Like right now I'm looking for the next brush pile, and when I find one, you know, in this depth, or like I just found one right there, I don't want to turn around and immediately fish that. I want to let that rest, because you know those fish are sitting in the top of it. When you idle over it, it kind of disperses them. You turn around and make a cast on it, they're not back in there yet. So, you know, keep moving on, mark a lot of different brush piles, then come back and start fishing them is what I like to do.
I said one of the important things about, jerkbait fishing is on the pause having slack, and that's what I mean. You can just see that bow right there in my line. That's what I'm talking about. This would be tight. If it's like that, I'm moving the bait. So it's very important on that pause to just let that line lay out, and then you watch that line. Either it'll jump or you'll feel the bite when it happens. You don't have to have your line tight to feel the bite, because if your line's tight, you're moving the bait and it's not pausing. A mistake I made really early in my career with a jerkbait is, I thought I would try to fish down the whole bank with it. And it took too much time, to get the bait down, to pause it, not to rush it. It's not a search bait, it's not like a crankbait when you go down a bank. I use a jerkbait for a target, for a brush pile, for a rock pile, for the corner of a dock. Think about it that way. Don't make the mistake of trying to cover water with a jerkbait, because it's just truly not a bait you cover water with in the wintertime. Yes, you can do it when the water's warm and you're jerking it and never pausing it. But when the water's 39 degrees, you've got to let that thing pause. So I'm using it to fish a target. It's really important, so when you're gonna fish that target, let's say that brush pile right out there, basically I can cast 130, 140 feet with that jerkbait. I want the structure that I'm fishing halfway back, because that's when I can get that bait the deepest. So 60, 70 feet right in there, if it's a 120-foot cast, generally 60 to 80, that's where I want that target, because that's when I can get that bait the deepest. And that's when that's when I really focus my cast. The first 20, 30 feet, I'm not really trying to pause it a bunch. I'm just trying to get it down. When I feel like I'm in that 80 to 60 foot range where my target is, that's when I really start paying attention, getting my 4 to 5 second pauses, my little twitches, kind of varying it up a little bit. But I guess what I'm trying to say is have your target halfway to how far you can cast. 120, 140 feet is going to be your cast most of the time. Put your target halfway in the middle. Another really important thing, when you're jerkbait fishing, your boat's got to be stationary. You can't be moving and pausing your bait at the same time. It just doesn't work that way. You're going to have a bow in your line. It's going to be pulling your bait. It's not pausing. So, I use this spot lock a bunch on my trolling motor. If you don't, just keep yourself stationary when you go to make your good cast, because you can't be moving. It's just, you can't feel your bait. There's just many, many things wrong with moving. Don't move your boat when you're making your cast. There, I got one. It feels like a pretty good one too. Maybe. Oh yeah, it's a full grown one. Yes. Oh. Sweet. Look at this one. That's what I love about jerkbait fishing. You can catch some big ones too. I'd say some of my biggest fish of the year always comes on a jerkbait. I mean, that is a 39-degree fish right there. He's not as big as I thought he was, but he is a chunker. Come here, dude. Come here, dude. Oh yeah. Look at that one. Look at the red. Look how red their mouths are. Man, he was not coming off. I got him good. Come here, buddy. I got him. All right, looky there. Sweet. Beautiful fish. He's a chunky one. There we go. Thank you, sweetie. All right. All right, guys, so there it is. That's how I fish a jerkbait. Man, I hope there's some tips in there that'll help you, get you some more confidence in it. The main thing,
when you go to pause that thing, pause it on spots where you know there's a bass or a target or where you think a fish is relating to. That's a really, really key thing. You know, don't try to fish it down stretches of banks. You know, make that thing pause, long cast, fluorocarbon. We went through all the details that I know about a jerkbait. Tried to give them to you guys today. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Leave me a comment, hit that like button, guys. I appreciate all that support out there. And you guys tune in next week because we'll be doing it all over again, something brand new right here on Project E.